Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And before we get started with the actual show today, right as we were going off the air, this news report broke from, I believe, WrestlingNews.co. Is that right?
Correct.
That Sasha Banks and Naomi have reached an agreement with the WWE to come on back. Now that Vince McMahon is gone, this has not been substantiated or confirmed by anybody else as of this recording right now.
Yeah, it's about 1 o'clock Pacific time, Monday. A little bit before. So odds are as soon as we sign off, finish this up, we're going to get some other information about it. That's just the way things happen to go with us. WrestlingNews.co also adds, quote, there is a belief backstage that we may see them return on tonight's show or in the near future.
The rumbling right now, also sort of since we went off the air, we wrapped up the main show today, was that Raw tonight is supposed to be stacked. It's supposed to be
Sean Ross Sapp tweeted that it's a statement show.
Yeah. WrestleVotes tweeted something pretty specific, that USA has been so impressed by what Raw offers up tonight that they're offering up the first hour commercial free. So it seems pretty interesting. We're going to see, what happens with all that. Of course, we'll bring you our Raw review tomorrow. With that being said, now we're going to throw to the actual show, the intro with the music and everything, and we're going to be acting in that show as if we have not heard about this.
because at that point in time, we had not heard about it. Yes.
We're going to do a little time traveling right now. So, welcome to Going In Raw. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steven Larson, available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out with us for our Summerslam 2022 weekend, the watch-along, all the support we've got, and then, people checking out our recap afterwards. It's available right now wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, over at our YouTube channel as well. So thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks again to the Enforcer for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
It was a really good time. It felt like there was some change in the air, Larson, now that Vince is out. And a lot of our news today on the show sort of reflects that. What to look forward to on in the WWE going forward. I'm interested. I know you probably are as well. But let's start with this one.
Sure.
The probably for us anyways, one of the top highlights of this past weekend SummerSlam, was the return of Bayley and the main roster debuts of Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, now named Io Sky. They're a faction. Well, we got super hyped for this new stable. Seemingly, Vince McMahon wasn't too keen on it. Fightful Select reported over the weekend that this faction had been pitched to Vince prior to Dakota Kai's release back in April, and Vince McMahon rejected it. God damn it, that's a terrible idea. Fightful adds that there were other iterations of the stable, which included Raquel Rodriguez and Alba Fire. Fightful also notes that there are several people within WWE who felt that Triple H would make it a priority to bring back Kai, and while they couldn't confirm that Io, whose contract was set to expire soon, had agreed to a new deal, sources stated that it appears that she did. I watched that segment back a couple times, Larson.
Yeah.
Because to watch, especially Bianca Belair sell it.
Oh, she did a masterful job of selling that.
Her putting it together. Like, oh, this isn't really a cause to celebrate.
Yeah.
Dakota comes out, she's overwhelmed, and then Io comes out, and she's like, "Oh, this is going to be scary now."
Yeah,
and
this is going to be rough.
Io has so much charisma just in her body language. When she comes out, she does that sort of chaotic stumble. That controlled stumble. It's phenomenal. We both love this segment. How surprised are you that Vince said, no, that's a terrible idea?
Oh, not surprised at all. Vince presented with a good idea. It seems like it's a 80-20 ratio that he's going to reject it. this is one of those things that I think we're going to get a lot more from Triple H is welcome surprises. I feel like he's got a lot of goodwill right now, especially after SummerSlam. People are excited about WWE's product genuinely enthused about it for the first time, seemingly in a long time. We've heard anecdotally, we've seen in our chat, people coming back who haven't watched in years because they're excited about the idea. Oh, Vince is out of creative. Maybe we'll see coherent stories being told and interesting characters and all of that, used as a means to put on really good matches.
Yeah.
Because I say this all the time. The talent level in the WWE roster has never been higher. Mm-hmm. This is across the board, the most talented WWE roster there's probably ever been.
Yeah.
Ever been.
Yeah.
And there's at least a dozen people, maybe more, who could be massive, massive mainstream crossover stars, but just based on how they were doing their creative and marketing their top stars, there's maybe 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could be having, back in the Attitude Era is when they did it the best in terms of marketing their star power.
Yeah.
And so you got Stone Cold, you got The Rock as huge mainstream crossover stars. Average people will maybe know who Mick Foley was or The Undertaker, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I just don't think that's the case right now, but it can be. And hopefully with Triple H leading the charge, we'll see a lot more crossover stars and more awareness of WWE wrestlers and therefore more awareness of WWE, because when WWE is doing good, it motivates everybody else to do better, and that's good for the whole industry.
It's good for us. Our numbers go up.
And it's good for us too. It is, yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. I was mulling it over. I was thinking about it. Could you imagine they were able to get Sasha Naomi back? You got who were interested in making something out of the women's tag titles. You got the possibility of, could you imagine the team of Io Sky and Dakota Kai come out to some Alan Parsons project? We
they're gonna do sky. Rewrite the lyrics to that song and make that their thing.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. That'd be awful.
But it'd be great.
It would actually be great. I love that song. It's terrible. You call it Toxic Attraction, maybe, as a faction.
You don't like that electric piano intro?
No, I love the song. It's on one of my main playlists, but I listen to it. It's so cheesy. It's such a cheesy song. So you call up Toxic Attraction, maybe like Hayden Carter and Katana Chance or something like that. You already have Doudrop and Nikki ASH as a tag team, and I think they're a good tag team together. And then maybe another one, I don't know who, but man, you can have a thriving women's tag scene.
Yeah, with actual tag teams,
themed tag teams. You toss in maybe, an Intercontinental Women's Championship. How cool will that be? Because they've got a ton of people on their roster, and Triple H loves women's wrestling. That's going to be the place for it, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. I think that's great.
Me too. Let's talk about another awesome moment that went down at SummerSlam. This one at the end of Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair's match. So Becky and Bianca's story came full circle at SummerSlam. A story that began with a handshake, ended with a handshake, and then a hug after their fantastic bout to open SummerSlam. But that face turn of Becky's apparently wasn't initially planned for the show when Vince was running creative. Wade Keller reported on a recent PW Torch VIP audio show, and these transcripts come to you from WrestlingNews.co. Quote, "I can now confirm Becky was not going to turn if Vince McMahon was still in control. That was a Paul Levesque call. I just got confirmation of that. She would have been a heel. As we're talking right now, McMahon was still running things, so one big change early on there."
God damn it.
The right call. I mean, Becky has done a lot of good heel work over the last year. I think people just want to cheer her.
Nobody wants to boo Becky Lynch, man.
No.
Nobody wants. She does phenomenal work, and she's always trying to get that crowd to boo her. And they're like, "Oh, we don't want to do that. You're so entertaining. We spent ages loving you and watching your ascent after the last time they tried to turn you heel, and that didn't work because all it was you doing cool shit. And nobody's gonna boo people doing cool shit, man.
Nope.
And that moment, God, man, it's burned in my brain. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Extending the handshake and Bianca learning her lesson. Bianca's journey in WWE, by the way, I want to go back and revisit like all of her programs because
we do give WWE a lot of crap for not being terribly good at long-term storytelling. This is an exception because this is actually really well done throughout. Yes.
And I'm curious about like how much of that is on Bianca and the people that she's wrestled, because to reference earlier matches of hers and incorporate them and the learning process is such a wonderful blueprint for going forward for people like Liv Morgan, for example, who's going to need to be built up a little bit. But anyways, that moment where Becky extends her hand and then Bianca takes it and Becky just like collapses in emotion into a hug, and you see a little glimpse of Bianca's face, and it's real. You saw there's like she posted like an Instagram post about Becky, and it was very, very nice. And
yes, it was.
And it was just that moment was, oh my god, god damn it! And then when she stepped up, and you can see where Becky is now and how Bianca's going to be at that point, where she's sort of above title, like Becky at this point. And Bianca's going to be there in a couple of years, where she's going to be doing those favors to somebody else. And yeah, it was a wonderful moment. Becky should be a face, and that I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, Becky should be a face, and then if they want to do Becky and Ronda at Mania next year, I mean it's there. Ronda just turned heel. You got face Becky.
Oh man, yeah,
it's there.
Yeah,
they could do it.
It'd be huge.
They could do it.
It'd be huge.
It would be huge.
Damn it.
More SummerSlam fallout. So after SummerSlam went off the air, apparently Brock Lesnar, I watched this video. I assume you did as well.
Oh, yeah.
He got back in the ring. He had to hike up the incline to get to the corner that was raised up thanks to the tractor he used to basically turn the ring over. And so he got his cowboy hat, waved it to the crowd, put it on, and sat in the corner. It seemed like he was both soaking in the moment and saying thank you to the fans. And of course, when wrestlers do those sorts of gestures, especially with Lesnar, assuming like he just walked out of Smackdown a week or so ago because of Vince's resignation.
God damn it!
Came back, but it got a lot of talk about him
maybe
retiring.
Like the one guy who was pissed off about that. He was the one person, man.
The one person, I know.
Anyway, sorry.
So there's been some talk, some conversation about whether he was gonna maybe retire.
Gonna hang him up.
Last match at WWE. But while this is hardly a guarantee that Brock's wrestling days are going to continue, he is being advertised for next year, 2023's Day 1 pay-per-view in Atlanta. It's on January 1st. So it seems, at least for now, you can kind of put that retirement talk to rest. Although, of course, cards subject to change.
Yeah. It sort of all depends on how the relationship between him and Triple H, Stephanie and Nick Khan pans out.
Absolutely.
Obviously he spoke very highly of Vince and the relationship they have, likened it to a father-son relationship. So that's kind of going to be, one hurdle. Also, in terms of, Vince sort of went into whenever Vince knew that when there was a panic situation, he could get Brock, which would give Brock a lot of leverage. And if they still see value in Brock as a guy who can move tickets at a stadium show, which is, I think, what they really needed this time around. Then I could see him continuing to have that leverage. But, Triple H is one of Triple H's main goals, you would think, would be build up other people so they can sell stadium shows under their current contracts.
Exactly.
And some of that involves some risk taking. Brock is a sure thing. But I think there's also, one thing that you can consider this maybe because they have marketed it this way. It feels like it's going to be the situation that this is going to be the retirement of Brock versus Roman, certainly. And maybe you can still use Brock in certain way. Brock, being the guy who is, next to Roman, has been booked as the most powerful entity in WWE. Yeah. Heads and tails above everybody else. You can use that. When Cody comes back, Cody versus Brock. That's a freaking match you're going to want. If you think Cody's going to beat Roman Reigns, he's got to beat Brock Lesnar first to show us his credentials. Or at least that's one way to do it. So you can use Brock at this point to get, some other names that you want up at that elite level. You got to pick and choose them pretty carefully. especially if Brock is going to be on board with it, because Brock kind of writes his own ticket.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, from what he said on the Pat McAfee show, he still enjoys doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if that continues and he's got a good relationship with WWE and they find interesting ways to use him, I'm totally down for Brock to be used in ways like that.
Absolutely. He's been doing the best work, some of the best work, if not the absolute best work of his career the last year.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
You can tell he's having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if he's out there having fun, putting on fun matches, and is involved in interesting storylines, then sure, why not?
Yeah,
he sells tickets. People want to see him, especially now.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
And taking him away from Roman offers up a lot of possibilities. That could be a lot of fun. And I'm not talking about like Goldberg. I'm talking about, use this big fella to get some up and coming names, or some names that, could be up there. Anyways, let's talk about this here. One of the SummerSlam matches that let us down a little bit was the Smackdown Women's Championship bout between Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. According to Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez, it might have been a tad underwhelming because it was cut down for time. Alvarez tweeted this out. That match had a lot of time cut because Miz and Logan went long. How about we cut some video packages instead of time off matches? Which is a solid point.
It is a good point.
So
there was a lot of video packages that maybe didn't need to be there.
I mean, some of them I know were done because Peacock runs commercials, so we got video packages instead of commercials.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, I get the point. I think that some of the, I don't know, the Judgment Day match was prior to this. You could have cut, five solid minutes out of that.
No, I don't know if I read this somewhere or this is just my own supposition. The match before the main event is the one that is kind of there, that if they need to cut time, that's the one that's going to be cut.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay.
I mean, it just,
you already have all the other matches structured.
I don't know if it's something I've read or if it's just kind of like I've watched based on watching wrestling shows and seeing reports of stuff being cut short, whatever. It's just a supposition that I've put together somehow.
Yeah, okay.
That like the match before the main event, that's when it's like, okay, well, if we have to cut time, we'll cut time on that one.
Yeah, we could just look, man. Can you just like confirm that you heard it from a source?
I mean, I can't confirm that unless we make something up.
Yeah, that though. Can we do that, please?
No, I'm not going to do that.
4 minutes and 35 seconds for that match. Miz versus Logan Paul went 14-15. Yeah, I feel like that match probably should have gone like 10 minutes. Yeah,
and if it had gone 10 minutes, I think it would have got the point across probably better than, I mean, they did especially if they were under, say, they had a match that was booked out for 8 to 10 minutes and like, okay, you got 5. Well, you're getting maybe as much as half your time chopped off your match.
Mm-hmm.
That's some serious cuts you got to make, and then in the process, you got to stick to like the absolute core of the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah,
which in short is, Liv is resilient, Ronda needs to turn heel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and probably a lot of the stuff, most of the stuff they probably had to cut was Ronda being dominant, but I would imagine some of it too was giving the audience more of an idea that Liv at least has what it takes to be competitive in this match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
And we did see her resiliency. She managed to find counters to the armbar, which not many people have been able to do.
Right.
But just getting a little more offense in.
Yeah.
I feel like would have really would have done a better job of hammering home that story they were trying to tell.
Yeah.
But if they were under time constraints,
not a lot you can do about that. No, I agree with you. We both talked about this in the recap,
yeah.
And I think we both also agreed that I hope that they endeavor to really tell a fresh story with Liv Morgan. I feel like that one thing she's really been missing is that convincing story that leads me to believe that she can hang with Ronda. She can hang with Charlotte. It was what they failed to do with Nikki ASH when she was Raw Women's Champion. It was convince us that she can hang. And that's what you really want out of a champion. Otherwise, you're just sort of, wondering, why are they champion? Isn't that supposed to be like the best? And especially if you're a face. If you're a bad guy, you can get away with it because you cheat. But if you're a good guy, you're not the best. Why are you champion?
Exactly.
And Liv needs to learn how to, she was able to get out of a lot of that Ronda stuff, but she wasn't able to counter that Ronda stuff. It was she basically survived Ronda. And I'd like to get to the point where Liv Morgan, because she has a tremendous fan base behind her that I think wants to see this as well. She's been working really hard. She's a lot more creative in the ring than she was like 2 years ago. Yeah. So she obviously puts in the work. I'd like to see that rewarded with a story that leads me to believe, hey, she's written in a fashion that I believe that she can hang with these other characters.
Definitely. I think part of the main event too might have been, or sorry, the main event, the Liv and Ronda's match, it might have been improved with the timing of the tap out, or don't have Liv tap out something.
Yeah.
You know, like even to the end, she got the opportunistic pin. Maybe it was just a situation where, for whatever reason, Ronda was paying attention. Whatever. You know, she was so focused on getting the arm bar, whatever the case may be. But just having Liv tap.
Yeah.
I know Ronda was working the arm. But still.
It's one of those things where I do, we have not been able to say this in such a long time. I'm going to give them the benefit of doubt on this because that was a very specific direction, her tapping out when she did. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that this is a story they're going to be telling with Liv. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I think so too, and I'm hopeful that it is. And again, their time got cut, so with that in mind, it's hard to be too critical of the match, because there's probably more of a story they had planned to tell here, and circumstances dictated they couldn't do it to the full extent they probably wanted to. Let's take a quick break here, get a word from our sponsor, Raycon. Steve.
Yes.
You know me, I like music.
Truth.
And I listen to all sorts of different stuff, but I found I've been revisiting my high school years and listening to a lot of 90s indie rock of late, and it's been sounded better than ever thanks to my Raycon wireless earbuds.
You've been revisiting your sonic youth, you could say.
Yeah.
Anyways, check this out, man. Raycon's everyday wireless earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. They've got a great in-ear fit thanks to optimized gel tips, and they've got a couple of different modes. Noise isolation mode from when I want to block out the outside world and rock out to Steve Thunder's theme, Sad Last Days by Rob Zerver. Or awareness mode when I just want a podcast or music on as background audio when I'm out running errands.
Yeah, I'm keen on Raycon's 3 sound profiles that match up my audio experience to whatever I'm listening to. Say I'm listening to a podcast, well, I put my wireless earbuds on the pure sound profile, or if I want to rock out to some Mudhoney or Sonic Youth, I switch over to the balanced profile, or if I'm in some mood for Outkast or Public Enemy or Daft Punk, I'll switch to the bass profile. And with my Raycons, I know I can listen all day because they offer up to 8 hours of playtime and 32 hours of battery life.
And Raycons are priced right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. So go to buyraycon.com/raw today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/raw to score 15% off. buyraycon.com/raw. Let's talk about more SummerSlam rumors leading up to the show. With Triple H now heading up WWE Creative, there was a lot of speculation going over the weekend that Johnny Gargano could rejoin WWE. That's a joke. 3 years running now. Probably maybe more than that. 4 years. It's probably 2018 when that shit was happening.
Yeah, I would think so.
Oh, man. Anyways, that Gargano could rejoin WWE, make a surprise re-debut at SummerSlam. Obviously, that didn't happen, but Gargano was in Nashville over the weekend for his StarCast panel. The panel was called What's Next? NXT.
Lowercase e.
It's stylized. What's NXT? What's next? Where he did talk about what he might have in his store in future. I'm sorry, what he might have in store for his future in the ring. These transcripts come to you via WrestleZone. This is what he said. This time period in my life has given me a unique opportunity to kind of sit back and survey the landscape of everything. If I would have made a decision immediately, who knows what would have happened? But the fact that I kind of told myself I was just going to sit back, watch how things turn out, and I'll make a decision on that. I love things that both places are doing. Trust me, there are pros and cons. Get it? Cons at both places. I didn't read this in advance. He said, trust me, there are pros and cons. Get it? Con, like Tony Khan and Nick Khan at both places. He says, you like that wordplay? There are pros and cons at both places. He says, I love what both places are doing. This panel's called What's Next, and what's next for me is I'm going to go home and change a diaper tonight. That's what's next. If people thought I was going to come here and be like, I'm going to show up then, I'm not going to say that because I don't have an answer yet, because I haven't made up my mind. I haven't made my decision yet. It's just I'm very lucky. I think we're all lucky, It's not just wrestlers, but also wrestling fans to be living in a time period where there's options out there. There's choices out there. There's talent all over the world. There's talent in both places that I haven't wrestled yet that I want to wrestle. And I'm all about the right place, right time, right opportunity. And my favorite time period was as a wrestling fan, was the Attitude Era, where people would show up. You never knew. The internet wasn't like this guy's showing up then, this guy's showing up here. It's all surprises. I think that's the fun thing about being a wrestling fan is being surprised. So whatever I can try and add to that element of surprise and protect my surprise, wherever that may be, I'm going to keep protecting it. So Larson, he's totally going back to WWE, isn't he?
I would suspect that's the case.
You know, it could be
fun. That would be my guess.
You know, it could be really fun.
What?
What if he came back to join up with Alpha Academy? But like you sort of turn Alpha Academy a bit more serious. Like they're not just using comedy bits, because Gable is a phenomenal wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Otis is still like one of those guys where it's like, I kind of just want to see him do comedy. But he's also a really good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
That could be kind of fun. Maybe it'd be a terrible idea.
What if they had him join Alpha Academy and he's like, Alpha Academy is good, but it's not the way.
Yeah.
So let's do it the Alpha way.
Oh, I like that. The Alpha way. That's good. I mean, he could come back and mentor Theory again. They could revisit that. I think that could be fun. I think there's any number of things they could do, but clearly he was part of Triple H's magnum opus. You know, Gargano, Ciampa, which, by the way, Ciampa's right there also about to be in a feud with AJ Styles, which could be great. So you could reform DIY even. There's a million things you could do. But right now, I feel like AEW has a lot of Johnny Garganos on their roster. And look, pound for pound, minute for minute, they still feature some of the best wrestling matches. And maybe that's where he's going to want to go. And certainly they could use people right now because they do have a lot of injuries, even though they have a really stacked roster. So I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. I guarantee you, though, number one, I appreciate that he's saying I have to make this decision. So clearly both companies are going to want him. Smart move, though, just like Claudio, just sitting back and waiting and seeing where the chips fall. I mean, Claudio waited until AEW desperately needed him because there were so many injuries. He's right there. Probably was able to drive up his value a bit, you know?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, especially now where I'm sure, again, speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gargano was concerned about his main roster future creatively with Vince in charge. Now that he's out at Triple H, someone I would guess he has a really strong rapport with, you would think, okay, well, if Hunter's here, I got to feel pretty good about my main roster future because I've seen he knows how to book me.
Yeah.
You know, Gargano became the guy in NXT. He was basically Mr. NXT.
Yeah.
And you know, knowing that, heck yeah, I would think he'd be maybe more inclined to go back to WWE because not only will he probably feel more secure in terms of the creative, based on what we've seen so far. I mean, Sheamus and Drew had a half-hour match on SmackDown, 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
That not only will my creative probably be pretty good, I'm going to get to wrestle how I want to wrestle. I won't have to change my style.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. This is sort of because we're talking about wrestlers deciding where they're going to go. And Tony Khan, when asked about the changeover, had mentioned that he has Adam Cole signed until 2027.
It was 2027 or something like that, yeah.
Which was like a 6-year deal. He signed there like a year ago.
Yeah.
Do you think now with Vince gone and WWE seemingly being a place where is a viable option for now the people who weren't Vince guys, is that going to drive the length of contracts down? Because now wrestlers, now that they have like Adam Cole about to go to, if he was going to go to WWE, we all know he was going to be used as a manager. Like that, come on, that was going to be obvious. So why would that even be an option for him? And I didn't see this Vince thing coming. You know, you and I are both like, Vince McMahon could live another 20 years and be running WWE that entire time.
Yep.
He could outlast us. Like if we retire in 15, 20 years or whatever from this.
Yeah, he could have still been 4 hours
there
a night and running WWE. Yeah,
that was a distinct possibility.
Absolutely.
So I wonder if Adam Cole was thinking, yeah, I want the most guaranteed situation for the longest period of time. But if Hunter was there before he made that decision, I mean, number one, I don't know if he would have actually gone to AEW. There's a lot of good stuff over there for him in AEW. You know, his gal, his best friends. But I wonder if that might drive the length of contracts down, because people are going to be like, well, hey, look, number one, we all know that bidding wars are lucrative for wrestlers. I wonder if it might drive them down, or if they're going to want the guaranteed, money that like a 5-year contract would get.
Like, here's the thing. The case can be made that wrestlers would probably want contracts for shorter terms to guarantee their money-making potential and their flexibility to make the most money wherever that may be. Maybe from the promotion side, though, they're going to want longer-term contracts because they want to make sure that people don't leave.
No, I know, but I wonder if now with like Hunter in charge and people wanting to go, like it's not like, oh, AEW's my only, AEW or New Japan or Impact are my only options.
No, that's what I'm saying. I just think there's going to be that push and pull there between wrestlers maybe wanting shorter term deals so they can maximize their flexibility and money making potential versus the promotions that are going to be pushing for longer deals to keep people around and prevent them from potentially jumping ship.
I just wonder if wrestlers are going to have a bit more leverage now with Hunter in charge, because it's like, hey, he likes a variety of wrestlers.
I mean, if WWE offers someone ridiculous money, over 7 years,
who are they to say no, right? Yeah,
I mean, if and that's a sure thing, because especially
they're happy that Hunter's there,
and maybe and this is a stretch. I don't think this is going to happen, but if the bidding wars get intense, or wrestling companies can start offering like guaranteed deals, signing bonuses like they do in professional sports,
Yeah.
To try to entice people to come over.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
I feel like because now it's like what Tony Khan was going to say no to Adam Cole's demands. Just stick with WWE. What's Adam Cole going to do? Well, shit, But now with Hunter there, feels like they're just going to give the wrestlers more leverage. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. It definitely could.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about SmackDown. We had a good old fashioned Donnybrook.
Yeah.
This is so. What do we have here on SmackDown? There was the Triple H era. This was the second SmackDown.
Yeah,
I think it was that first one. Like, I think they said Bruce was in charge and Triple H was like the finish guy. So I guess this was the first one because he was announced on that Monday as head of creative.
You could assume this is like the first one that was fully under his control, authorship, whatever.
Some of the changes that we saw were pretty evident with Triple H in charge, namely, like you said earlier, that really long opening match, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, wildly fun. These guys have just terrific chemistry.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of fun. They allowed Drew McIntyre to kick out of a brogue kick, I believe, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. No. He did. Yeah, he did. Sheamus hits Drew with a brogue kick and Drew kicked out.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of nuts. Shotzi had a clean win over Aaliyah with a really cool finish. It was like
that was cool.
Like a spike DDT type thing. And Lacey Evans was supposed to show up. This was going to be interesting, like what they're going to do with Lacey Evans. She wasn't there, didn't show up. Yeah. Beyond that, there was a brutal beatdown from the new and vicious Viking Raiders.
New and vicious Viking Raiders against the New Day. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. So yeah, SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was pretty fun, man.
Yeah, it was plenty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Let's just kick things off. It started, as mentioned, with a Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Really fun match. They gave it a ton of time. There was weapons all over the place. Shillelaghs. There was a pitcher of beer, which looked exactly like Jeff Hardy's viscous urine.
It did, and it came into play as well, yeah. So that was gross. Sheamus's, I think...
Wait, did you say gross or great?
Well, either one works, really. A picture of what I think was Sheamus's grandma, who looked exactly like Sheamus, just wearing like some old-timey women's getup, which was fucking hilarious. And then a bunch of upside-down Irish flags.
Yeah.
I think there is a joke, because isn't it like an upside down Irish flag is like what, an Ivory Coast flag? I think it is. Or is it it was something else. Sheamus made a joke about it on Twitter. Let me get to it really quick.
Oh, all right.
Because, like apparently a bunch of the flags were upside down.
The finish of this match was great. So,
the
Drew power bombs Sheamus through a table. And there's like a piece of shillelagh on the apron or in the corner. And so Sheamus is crawling to get it. And Drew just looks at him and is like, just stay down. Mm-hmm. Just stay down.
Yeah.
You don't need to fight anymore. Just stay down. And then Sheamus gets the shillelagh. He's still on his knees.
He's on his
turns
knees.
around. And then Drew just kind of does a heavy side bang, claymores it to get there.
He hit a claymore to a dude on his knees. That was the most violent shit. I was like,
it was pretty awesome.
Come on, man. Let him stand up. Because Sheamus knew he was done. And he's looking at this busted ass shillelagh like, oh, this ain't going to help me, is it? And then he just gets like a car hits him with that claymore, man.
Yeah, it was great. And Drew's and Sheamus' selling of the moment was really well done. Afterwards, Drew has an interview. He just, he says someone has to take the titles off the part-time champs, whether it's Brock or Roman. And then Theory comes from behind, blasts him with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Mm-hmm. Yep. After that, Baron walks to a seat behind commentary with a sign that had a picture of Pat McAfee's mugshot on it. That said loser on it. Mm-hmm. And he just sat behind there and heckled him a little bit. Baron hops the barricade, kicks Pat right in his dick area. Pat McAfee goes down, says, "Oh, my dick."
Yep. You wonder if he pooped his pants.
Might have pooped his pants.
Then we had a Theory interview. He says, "I'm sick and tired of everybody treating me like I'm a punching bag. I'm not a punching bag." He says, "I can't help that Dolph, Lashley, and Moss are jealous of me. But that's not going to stop me from cashing in tomorrow and winning the title." He says, sure, Brock F5'd me on last Friday, but he won't stop me. On Monday, the Bloodline attacked me, but that won't matter because they won't stop me. He says, "I'm going to Clash at the Castle. I'm going to make Drew my punching bag." And then Heyman walks up, puts his arm around Theory, and they walk off.
Yeah.
Now come into play later.
Yeah. After that, we had Shotzi versus Aaliyah. Michael Cole noted on commentary it's supposed to be Lacey Evans. I didn't note the reason why it wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay, I'm assuming it was just like one of her standard. She didn't want to do it because she's pissed off at everybody, but I don't remember him actually saying anything. If somebody in chat remembers. Shotzi wins this fairly quickly with a capture DDT.
Yeah, it was a great looking move, too.
It was a really cool. Oh, not medically cleared. Is that what it was said? Delaney Delgado here in chat said that. So maybe that was the situation. I don't know. Anyways, after that, we had a Liv and Ronda photo shoot. Natalya steps in, tells Liv that Ronda's going to beat her in record time. So Natalia's all about that record. She says, "I'm the reason that Liv has the title." Sonya steps in, says, "Isn't it ironic that Ronda calls herself the baddest woman on the planet, then comes out to attack her after attack me after my match?" And then Ronda leaves. And then we cut to Shotzi. She's just laughing in the ring. And Ronda walks to the ring. Shotzi says, "Oh, hey, Ronda." And then Ronda flings her around the ring, grabs her by the arm and says, "Bye, Shotzi." And then sort of shoves her off. I thought she was going to break her arm. That was hilarious. "Oh, hi, Ronda."
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And then tells Liv to show Natty and Sonya why we're fighting for the title tomorrow. So they had a tag match, Ronda and Liv versus Sonya and Natalya.
Yep. And the story of this is Liv wants to prove that she doesn't need any help. So she basically tries to win the match herself. At one point, she like walks to her corner. Ronda's like, "Come on, tag me in." Liv just goes, "No, I'm going to do this myself." Instead, she gets isolated for a bit. There's another instance where she crawls over to the corner, but doesn't tag Ronda in. She misses her finisher. Natty hits her with the discus clothesline that gets Natalya a 2 count. Eventually, Liv does go back to her corner. Ronda tags herself in. She goes on a run, and she's about to put the armbar on Sonya. Natalya blasts her from behind, so Liv hits her finisher on Natalya, and then Ronda puts Sonya in the ankle lock, and Sonya taps.
Right. After that, we had the Street Profits and Usos receiving referee instructions from Double J. This is kind of silly stuff. So Double J had some words for the Profits and the Usos. He says, "I came out to get some things straight before SummerSlam. Slap nuts." He says, "I want y'all to know how serious I take my job." And Jay asks if he says, hey, hey, Double J, if I make Ford bleed like I did on Monday, is that a DQ? And Dawkins says, hey, Double J, is it a DQ if we beat the Usos so bad they come back with their face paint on? Double J says, the four of you guys have creative imaginations. He says, I'm not here to contain you guys. I'm here to let you run wild because I only have one job tomorrow. Count the pin. He says, but I mean, immediately, that's like not even a ref's job. Like, that's one of many jobs a ref has.
Yeah, you're actually there to make sure the rules are upheld.
He enforced the rules, a wide variety of them. He says, as far as tonight goes, it's apparent you guys have some issues. So if one of y'all feels froggy, why not one of you jump? And then a brawl breaks out, and Jay accidentally super kicks Double J. And then the Usos are like, oh, shit, sorry. Oh, I can't believe we did that. Jeff gets up, shoves the Usos. Dawkins then shoves the Usos out of the ring. Ford hits them with a tope.
Yep. Then we get Maxine Dupree debuting the 2022 SummerSlam collection. And then at the end, Max Dupree.
Hey, yeah.
He's still seeking clients. Yeah.
Max Dupree. Soon to be LA Knight, yeah. This is Delaney here in chat mentions, can't forget Ronda telling, some fan was heckling Ronda, said, shut up, you suck, your mother failed you.
Yeah.
That was rough, a little foreshadowing there for heel Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, it was, it really was.
After that, we had the New Day versus the new, more vicious Viking Raiders. The Raiders win with a double last ride on Kofi. That was brutal.
Yeah, that looked rough.
And they get their shields from the timekeeper area, get back in the ring. The Xavier Woods charges Eric. He gets blasted with the shield. And then they wrap a chair around Woods' ankle, and they both just blast this thing with their shields. The weight of these shields is very effective in conveying some violence here, man. This was a pretty brutal spot.
It was. It seemed like they upgraded their shields from whatever they got at Party City to something that actually seems weighty.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they can fuck some people up with this stuff.
It seems that way. Yeah. So then to close the show, we had a Paul Heyman promo. He's hyping up the main event for SummerSlam. He's talking about how Roman being champ for 700 days is unheard of in the modern era. It's been 35 years since someone has been champ that long. He says tomorrow Roman just won't smash Brock. He can put him down for 10 seconds, hold the undisputed title in the air, and they'll be done with Brock Lesnar once and for all. Brock comes to the ring. He corners Heyman, and then Theory comes to the ring, blasts Brock with the briefcase. Brock completely no-sells, picks up the briefcase and just smashes Theory with it, hits some German suplexes. Theory rolls out of the ring, and then Drew, out of nowhere, hits Theory with a Claymore at the foot of the ramp. And then Drew and Brock have a stare down to close the show.
This was another example of pretty stellar TV direction because fucking Theory got annihilated, and I did not see that coming. That was pretty good direction right there.
It was.
So whoever takes over from Kevin Dunn needs to be taking notes right now.
Exactly.
We also had a Rampage, some AEW action on Friday night with some good stuff going on here. We had Lee Moriarty in action against Matt Sydal. Seems to be the end of that particular relationship.
Yep.
And we had a pretty fun main event, which saw Anna Jay beat Ruby Soho. And Wardlow seems to be keeping it held down on Rampage as well. Coming to the aid of best friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he is the TNT champ, so he should make appearances on the TNT show.
That's a good point. But then the TBS champion Jade Cargill kind of keeps it held down on Rampage too. So
sometimes, yeah.
Maybe it's just the Warner family. They're all a big family. The Turner family broadcast.
Yeah, no,
networks.
I guess that's the issue when you name titles after specific networks and they don't show up on that network. It's a
little bit confusing.
There's a disconnect there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they should really replace those network titles with like more cooler sounding names.
Warner Media Championship.
That's less cool. That's what that was.
Warner Discovery titles. Have one be the Warner title, the other the Discovery title.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's good. It's not.
No, that's not good. Really. It's not any better, Steve.
No, it's not good. I'm just trying to move on.
Show opens up with a 6-man tag match. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh taking on Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. This match was fun. It was great when Sanjay got in there. He's just wearing his suit.
He's not happy. He is regretting his decision and came to the ring still regretting that decision.
He is. So he took his jacket off, his tie, roll up his sleeves. He still has his pencil behind his ear. He's about to throw down. Instead, he tags in Satnam Singh. Satnam Singh has a great fun splash.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Whenever he hits that fun splash, love it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
However, Sanjay takes the loss here, so he gets back in the ring after that. It's him and Orange. He does Orange's shin kicks to him, and then Orange grabs Sanjay's pencil, snaps it. Orange punch to get the win. Afterwards, Satnam gets in the ring, grabs Orange Cassidy by the throat. Trent breaks that up. Singh hits him with a shoulder tackle, and then holds up Cassidy, so Jay Lethal could hit him with a lethal injection. That's when Wardlow comes to the ring to make the save. Lethal steps up to him, but then Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh hold him back, and then the three of them leave.
Mm-hmm. Yep. After that, we had a FTR video package, and then we had Ethan Page not happy about his AEW deal because he's never on TV. Versus
this is his storyline now.
Leon Ruffin, he's not happy to be there. He wins pretty quickly and decisively with an ego's edge.
Then and before he hit it, he just looks in the camera and says, "This place sucks."
Yeah, I hate it here. Yeah, was it "This place sucks"? Some shit like that.
It was something along those lines. We get the words might not be exactly what he said, but the sentiment is there.
Yeah, you know who might be happy to be there? Karate Man. Can we get the Page cut of Karate Man versus All Ego Ethan Page?
Oh, there we go.
Let's get that Page cut. Release the Page cut.
There we go. # release the Page cut.
So after that, we had was this like an advertisement for a feud that should be on Dark Elevation? Because it was a Cole Carter interview. He's interrupted.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
No, they're definitely giving Cole Carter like a lot of TV time.
Yeah, they are. I'm happy for him. I think that's good. You know, he has his issue in NXT. We're deep into the show right now, so I could bitch a little bit.
Sure.
AEW is already really, really stacked. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who don't get TV time, women. Why are we bothering with this guy? Like here on cable TV and not on like Darker Elevation. I think he should absolutely be given an opportunity to sort of prove himself out, right? But
definitely, sure.
They are so loaded right now, and there's so many people who don't have TV time that really should have TV time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like this guy was just like a henchman for Tony D. Like I don't know. This kind of stuff I'm like, why are we having like, I don't know, another women's segment or something here? Exactly. Something that AEW needs to be having.
Like this is the type of segment that, should be on Dark. If there's any, this is just me speculating here, any benefit to this segment being on Rampage that I can think of is that they're using this to try to entice people to go watch Darker Elevation. That's it. This is like cross promotion for Darker Elevation. That's like the only reason I could think that this would be on cable television. Like they didn't actually even say, hey, because the gist of this is, so the factory walk up, QT tells Carter, hey, last time we saw you, a go-go put his fist through your ribs, and then you left and started hanging around with the wrong crowd. How about you join us in the factory? You have to make a decision now. Sleep on it. But sleep in your own bed, not with the fishes. And then they leave. This is a short segment. Mm-hmm. But then again, if the idea is like, hey, we're going to push little bits of story here on Rampage and Dynamite, so people might want to check it out on Dark and Elevation, then you got to like actually say, I'll see you on Darker Elevation. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of any reason this is.
It's a solid point because this is like all of 30 seconds to a minute. I agree. Yeah. Absolutely.
But every second's valuable when your roster is as large as AEW.
Yeah, that's sort of my point, And it's like they keep on harping on the fact that he was with Tony D, like he was a henchman for Tony D, and I'm like, why? Nobody watches NXT. I mean, if you look at their numbers, like their numbers are not impressive. Well, there's 600,000. It's like half of what a Dynamite does. But actually, it's better than what Rampage does. But
it is better than Rampage.
I mean, I don't know. It feels like a weird shot, like a weird flex that, like, I don't know. At a certain point, stop referencing that stuff. It's like, why are you doing that? It's a creative misfire. In any event, Cole Carter's got a feud with the factory now.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least Cole Carter's gonna get a couple wins here.
Right. Yeah. After that, a dude I totally love seeing on my TV, Lee Moriarty.
Yes.
Had a match against Matt Sydal. Happy Lee Moriarty's getting cable TV time, and he's super happy he's going to be with Stokely Hathaway. That's going to be that's going to do wonders for Lee, man. I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. That's the little bits of heel Lee that we've seen have been great. But yeah, matching him up with Stokely is going to be fantastic. Lee gets the win here with the Border City stretch, and then he holds on, and then Stokely's ringside he kind of motions to Lee, "You can let go now."
Yeah.
So then Stokely gets in the ring, hands Lee his business card, and Lee takes it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that team up right there.
Yeah, yeah.
After that, we had a Britt Baker and Rebel promo. Says there's going to be a thunderstorm on Dynamite. Said Rosa feels like her title reign might be coming to an end, but what impresses me is how smart Thunder Rosa is, because she's keeping Tony Storm by her side. Says it's silly of Tony Storm to be cozy with the person who has what Tony should want.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And then we got a Claudio interview. He thanks the fans in a few different languages, and then says there have been times where he doubted himself, but the fans were always there for him. Says it feels amazing to stand in front of them as ROH World Champ, and he promises it's just the beginning. Someone else who had a tremendous night at Death Before Dishonor, Wheeler Yuta. So Wheeler comes to the ring. Claudio hands him the mic, and before he can start talking, Jericho interrupts. He says, "I've had enough." He says to the crowd, "Do you really expect me to sit here at commentary to hear you cheer for Yuta and chant 'You deserve it' to Claudio? The only thing Claudio deserves is a boot in the ass." And Wheeler tells him to shut up. He says, "I know, Jericho, you're going to say that sports entertainers beat pro wrestlers, except I beat Garcia at Death Before Dishonor to retain my pure title." And he says, "I'll be honest, that match built my confidence. I'm pretty sure I can beat you, Chris Jericho." And then Jericho asks Yuta, "Did you just say you think you could beat me?" And Yuta says, "Yeah." And Jericho's like, no, you can't ever beat me, ever." And Yuta says to Jericho, "You sound nervous because you know I can beat you." And he asks Claudio, "Do you think I could beat Jericho?" And Jericho says yes. He asks Regal, and Regal says yes. And then Jericho says, "No, you can't beat me. And if you want a chance, you get it this Wednesday on Dynamite." And Wheeler just goes, "Nah." Says, "I don't need the match because I know I can beat you." He's just playing mind games with Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho's falling for it. And then so they go back and forth a little bit, and Jericho says, "Well, I'm so sure I can beat you that I'll put up my title shot against Mox at Quake in the Lake. If you win, Wheeler, you get my title shot." And Yuta says, "Well, that's easier than I thought. You're on."
This is a pretty lengthy segment here.
It was.
That should be a fun match, though.
Yeah.
After that,
I don't feel like Wheeler Yuta's going to win that one, though.
Probably not going to win that match. After that, we had the acclaimed music video. So in this, they challenged the Ass Boys to a dumpster match. I thought this was funny. It's just really hard to top the what was it? Middle-aged dude with who's a goth
phase,
going through a goth phase.
Yeah, that one was really good.
That was really funny. I thought this was pretty charming too. This is pretty funny stuff. They call them the Trash Boys because it rhymes with Ass Boys, and they challenge them to a dumpster match. So that should be pretty fun.
That's a reference to New Age Outlaws versus Mick Foley and Chainsaw Charlie Terry Funk.
Correct.
Dumpster match. So.
Yeah. After that, we had our main event. Of course, we had the customary interview beforehand. It said, Anna says, everybody wants to hear from me. I can't wait to share the ring with Ruby, except this time I don't have to pretend to like you. And Ruby says, I had hope for you, Anna. You reminded me of myself. Turns out you're just another entitled shit. Tells Anna to leave the Circle Jerk Society in the back. Face me one-on-one. And it says, you know what? I'm the new Anna J. This is Anna JAS. I'm going to choke you out, Ruby. And we had that match. And she, in fact, did choke out Ruby. She used a cast while the ref was distracted to do it with heel tactics. Anna JAS.
Yeah, I did appreciate that Anna, before she put the Queen Slayer on Ruby, was motioning to the audience and saying, "I'm going to choke you out. I'm going to choke you out. I'm going to choke you out." Yeah,
it's a good little touch. I like that. It adds a little bit of personality, a little weird character quirk to her. I like that.
And I thought, her reaction to getting the win, kind of being like, "Yep, I knew that was going to happen. I had this. There was no worries.
Yeah.
All good."
Right. Yeah.
Was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And that's it. So that was Rampage.
That was the show.
Over there,
you want to do G1 update because I have
New
the
Japan Professional Wrestling. That's what I was about to do. We got our nights 8 and 9 update, along with our August predictions, score, Enforcer's running away with his shit right now.
Yeah, he is.
I kind of love to see it, to be honest with you. So night 8 saw Jonah defeat Tom Lawler. There's been some pretty good promos. I saw like a Tom Lawler promo backstage. That was pretty fucking cool. I got to catch up with some of these matches, though. Sonata defeated the Great Okan. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Zack Sabre Jr. That was probably a good match. Yeah. And David Finlay, big upset here, defeated Shingo Takagi. So
he's gotten wins over Juice Robinson and Shingo in his block, and I think he has a match. Is it next match against Will Ospreay?
Ooh.
Yeah, that is tomorrow.
Is this dude bracket busting?
Maybe.
Night 9.
Night 9 saw Jay White defeat Chase Owens.
Not shocking.
Tetsuya Naito finally get on the board.
There you go.
Come on, Naito.
Come on, time to rally, Naito.
Exactly, against Evil. Okada beat Bad Luck Fale. Jeff Cobb defeated Lance Archer. And Yoshihashi. Juice Robinson. So our scores right now, Enforcer with 48 points. Running away with it. Steve with 40. I got 36.
Wah, wah. What a bunch of losers
we're halfway
are.
Through. Yeah, the Enforcer's doing pretty good. You and I are not doing good at all.
At this pace, he'll be up on you by 24 points. By the end of this, he'll have built a wall.
Yeah.
A G1 wall, Larson.
Hey, we got half the tournament left. I have time to get
sit
back
there and watch your picks just fumble.
Yeah, I know.
I say on the text thread, I said we should rename this the E1 because Enforcer's going to won this thing.
Yeah, instead of number 1, WON.
Right, WON, exactly.
Yes.
I'm very clever. Yeah, so is there a Raw preview yet?
I'll check right now, but as of, an hour ago, there was not.
I'm still writing this show, God. I don't know. I didn't go. Man, I slept in today.
Maybe.
That's going to be Triple H's thing now. God, I'm sorry. I slept like 13 hours
I slept through my alarm. I'm sorry.
Look, guys. The benefits of sleep are vast. It's very healthy for your mental well-being, your physical well-being. Sleep as much as you possibly can. All right, let's start writing Raw. It's already 3 o'clock. Jeez. Hold on. I'm going to go take a nap. I don't really feel like creative right now.
Nothing announced so far, so.
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, he was up watching the G1 scouting.
No Raw preview right now.
There's nothing on Twitter either. Let's check that. No, all of our it all goes on Twitter now. Social media is the future.
Yeah, I just checked at least on the.
It says a Raw preview. Triple H to open the show to run down the Enforcer.
Oh my god,
that's kind of interesting. Then handicap match. The Usos versus the Enforcer.
Wow.
But the Enforcer has to have his hands handcuffed behind his back.
Wow.
So it's called a super kick to the face as many times as you can match.
Wow.
Yeah, Enforcer's going to get lit up.
He really has a bone to pick with the Enforcer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways. Is this true? Jorge said WrestleVote's recent tweet says that USA is so impressed by this Raw, they're letting WWE have the first hour commercial free if they want. Or is that a joke? Let's see.
No, this is from WrestleVotes. I'm told Raw tonight looks really good as of now and is a packed show, so much so USA Network is allowing the first hour to be commercial free if WWE wants.
That's a very specific thing, so I'll give credit where credit's due to WrestleVotes if that actually happens.
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be sick. That'd be cool. God damn it. Anyways, so that's going to do it for the show today. We're going to answer some questions of yours over on the Friendo Club TV channel. That probably won't go up today because it usually takes me a second to edit that. But I'll try to get it up as soon as I can. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald here to tell you to go support Going In Raw on Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the weekend wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.